So about a year ago, I was praying. I started praying really hard, um, that I could see the face of Jesus. I was praying, Father, I just want to see His face. I want to see my Lord's face, like Paul did. Uh, like all the apostles did, and several of the disciples. Those first century believers. But I was praying about it because I thought it was a simple thing, and it might be a simple thing. Well, anything's simple for God, and since Jesus is alive, what? Why do we? Why is it a problem? I thought, So this was going through my head, day in and day out. It was really bothering me that I hadn't seen Jesus' face. See, I was talking to the Father, and I was listening, and the Father was speaking to me, and I know what to do sometimes, like when I'm listening, I know what to do, like what Jesus would want me to do, because it's Christ in me, right? But I was praying really hard, and this was probably the beginning of April, maybe a little before April, so about a year or 6 months before that, I was praying. Anyway, he said, go to the grocery store one night and get what you need. So I went to the grocery store to get what I need. And he said, go to the grocery store, get what you need, and there you'll see Jesus. So I went to the grocery store, got what I needed, was praying the whole time because I was really excited. And then at one point, I got to the checkout aisle, so I'm like, damn, it's not even gonna happen, I mean, actually, I forced myself to believe that it would happen. I changed my mind. I forced myself to believe it would happen, because there was a little bit of doubt. There was. I changed my mind though. I got to the checkouts, and he said, turn around. And I turned around, and there was a magazine on the rack, Life magazine, Who Do You Say I Am? Which is kind of, man, I was pissed. I was angry. I was mad at God. You joking at me talking like this, like when I'm feeling like this, And well, it went on, and then I was still praying. I still decided to pray. I said, God, tell me what I need to do. I want to serve you. I want to serve your Son, the Lord Jesus Christ. Tell me what to do. And he said, there's going to be an accident, and you're going to try to save a man. Like, it was kind of it was in a flash. It was like, it was just like everything at once. It was like a vision, or it was just images, like kind of like a dream. Like, I was not sleepy at all though at this point. Anyway, it was like a dream that he said, you're not going to be able to save him. And I saw this burning man, his face, just his face. I said, no, that's too much. And I said, no, and he said, it will be on I think it was the 4th. So that thing must have been March. So where I saw Jesus's face on that magazine, and I don't even know if that's really what Jesus looked like. But anyway, God has a sense of humor, and it pissed me off, but I needed to change my heart. I need to be happy with God. God is here to be happy with me. Put me here to laugh with him, not to just be serious all the time. Because I've been serious towards God, but I've been joking around with my life. And does that make sense to you? But anyway, God said, you're not going to be able to save this guy. And I said, oh, I will. I have an extinguisher in my trunk that works. I know it works because I had a couple days ago. I sprayed it out. It's an old one, but it still works. And then I said, I'll be ready. I'll be ready. But you can't be telling me this sort of thing. Like, if I'm not going to be able to help him, I don't want to know this. I want to forget this. But God's word is bigger than my words. So on the 4th, I was driving to work really late. And so it's like 10, I think. 10 in the morning. Sorry, not 10 in the afternoon. I'm driving to this job out about 45 minutes away from me. And I see this big plume of smoke, just black smoke, erupt about 2 miles ahead of me. So I stepped on the gas, real hard at first, and then I started to think, well, what about my family? What if I get a ticket? So I slowed down just a little bit, but then I started, I stepped on it again. It's like, no, that's wrong. There's somebody in need. But then I'm like, no, I gotta speed, but then I only speed a certain amount. It's an old country road. It's not a dirt road or nothing, but so I'm going about 80 or something, and I come up to this just huge flame coming from this corner in a field, catty corner to a house, where 2 tractor trailers had collided. One was coming from the same way I was, where there was a stop sign at the end of the road. The other one was coming from a quarry carrying rock, about 4 to 6 inches, limestone, and carrying it, and it was scattered all across the road. It had spun all the way around and hit the other bed of the truck, the semi-truck that failed to stop at the stop sign. And so people driving by, I see this green truck, I see silver cars, white cars driving by, all sorts of things. And then I don't know what to do, and there's just smoke pouring out. I'd never seen this before. What do I do? I gotta think, what is the smartest thing to do? So I got out. I pulled off across the road from him, and on the other corner, and I got out of my car. I saw a hole in the barbed wire fence, and the semi-trailer that had a flatbed on it was laying on its side. It was laying on its side, and it was shielding the whole field side of that corner from the flames, and so I went through. I actually thought, okay, I have that extinguisher in my car. And then I said, no, that's not going to do anything. Not to this. Or those words just were there. It wasn't that I thought that, but they were just there. And this, I'm just telling you exactly as I remember it. But then I went up and crossed the fence, like went through the fence, and I saw a man with his 4 limbs in the air, just kind of wiggling, kind of moving a little bit, and it just burnt on about 70% of his body. I saw it was bad, and his head looked totally black, and I didn't know what it was, but he was still moving. So I ran up there, and I tried, I didn't know what to do. I stood there like this, and I, like, for just a second, but then I reached out and I grabbed his arm, and I pulled with all, I was like, this is gonna be heavy, so I pulled him with all my might, and his skin just slipped off, and I fell backward, and I kind of moved him, and then I'm wearing a red hoodie. I'm wearing a red hoodie, and underneath I have a white shirt. I pull off the red hoodie at this point because I pulled him enough out of the flames. He's about 3 to 5 feet away from his tractor, or from his semi truck window. He must have broken through the windshield and came out a little bit, and so it hadn't melted yet. It was starting to melt, and I pulled him back a little bit, but it slipped. And then I took off my hoodie, my red hoodie, exposing my white shirt, and I started to beat that flame out. And I look like this, right? I started to beat that flame out, and I couldn't get it. So I'm like, whoa, what do I do? Like, I don't know if I should save this guy, because he's dead. He's dead already. Like, what do I do? And then I just reached down and I grabbed his leg. Oh, actually, right before that, I didn't see anyone stop. But then all of a sudden, at this point, everyone was stopped. There was like 5-6 people around the fence on both roads, and I yelled for help, and nobody comes to help. They're just looking in disgust and like, ugh, like, that's nasty. I don't want to go and deal with that. Or, I gotta save myself. And so I thought, well, I gotta pick this guy up. All I gotta do is a fireman's carry. He's a big guy. I mean, he's about 300 pounds, but I thought, I can do it. I lift a lot of that stuff at work all the time. Like, that's nothing. My adrenaline wasn't pumping though. I was just calm. It might have been pumping, but it was just so surreal. It was like I wasn't there, but I was there. And so I'm like, no, he's gonna grab me. If I do that, he's gonna grab me. He's like on fire, like 70% of him's on fire. I mean, they're only flames like that high, but still, it's flames. Like, I have 2 kids and a wife, and now I know I have one on the way, and that's pretty exciting. It's gonna be a boy, and but I said, no, he's gonna grab you. You're gonna light on fire. Which is that's another symbolic thing. And then after that, I reached for his boots. I mean, not his boots, but his ankle, and just started pulling him back. And I just noticed that the grass, all this dry grass all around me, started lighting on fire. It was starting to burn, just like, and by this point, the cab of the truck was melting and like red hot. I'm wearing this white shirt and trying to beat these flames out from this guy, whipping his skin off as I go. And then at that point he said no. It was clear as day. He said no. So he had a black shirt over his head. So that's the reason I thought that like his head was burnt, but it wasn't. He wrapped that around his head. His whole crotch was burnt out. His junk was all burnt, all that stuff. But he said no. And then he died, and I didn't know what to do. So that's what's been on my mind. But it wasn't like a horrible feeling. It hasn't been a horrible feeling. It's been no worse. I swear to God, it's been no worse at all than the moments that I've tried speaking the word to people, bringing people to Christ, trying to help people who are believers but believe wrongly, maybe about, believe that Jesus is God instead of Jesus is the Son of God. And they just turn on you, and they say they do just the worst, most evil things. And they have, I've experienced it. But that's not that's all an aside. There's no worse though. There's no worse than any of that. So tell me what you think about trying to put out a burning man. God told you weren't going to be able to save. 6 days before, so it's 5 days before, on the 29th, I think, of March, that I had that dream. He said that you're not going to be able to save him. I said, yes, I will. God's words, bigger than my words. I don't think I look like Jesus, but I look like that Jesus who's in the picture on that magazine. It's getting a little bit windy. That white shirt, I pulled off the red and tried beating out the flames. And the man saying no. What would you think of that? How great is God? I believe that people need saved. I don't want to be the only one out in the field. I don't want to be the one that screwed up again, though. I feel like I screwed up. I stopped for cigars that day. Maybe I would have missed it completely if I didn't stop. but I wasn't ready. I need to figure out what that is. So be praying for me. I've been praying about it. I need answers. And yeah.